Namaste and Jai Shri Krishna to all. Welcome to Path to Anandam series. And today we have a very interesting subject. The power of conscious efforts. Yatna. Very interesting subject. We all try to do a lot of efforts. Yatna. Sometimes we succeed, sometimes we do not succeed. So we will discuss further on that today. And pranam to Guruji Hariharji Maharaj for his blessings. And Bhagwan Krishna Bhagwan Ji for giving the guidance which subject to select and how to put light on it. I am Satya Kalra, your host and also the founder of Path to Ananda, blissful living and beyond. And the teachings are based on science and spirituality because they both are the two sides of the coin. We cannot separate the reality in this world, the facts in this world, and also connect to the supreme power. And whatever you see, these books, CDs, these bestsellers on Amazon, all is the guidance of Guruji's. And actually it was his Adesh that I should do that. So today's subject, this word has come from Bhagavad Gita. Yatna, Yatno, Yatant, Yat. It's all, what does it mean? The power of striving, struggle for purpose, and eventually lead to the path of oneness, to the supreme power. So what is Yatna? That conscious efforts, and why? What is the science behind it? What are the barriers? What does Gita say about it? And how to overcome all these barriers and continues to apply and benefit from it. And our sankalpa, that my every action is tailored toward the oneness. Every effort has to be conscious effort from now on. And then our meditation, mantra, I work consciously for oneness. So what is oneness, which we talked about it? But what leads to that? What are the efforts we have to put? We spoke about previously doing one action at a time, conscious breathing, self-purification, transformation, and finally self-realization. But it's a path. It's not like we can turn on, we decide that we want to just experience that oneness, that merger with supreme power, seeing God in everyone. It's a constant practice. But what kind of practice? We talked about it. All these, what we are right now, we take like a one word of Bhagavad Gita and expand upon it, try to understand what does it really means. How can we apply in our life? So today is Yatna, the conscious efforts. And what is Yatna means? It means the conscious, dedicated, and continuous efforts made toward achieving excellence, self-realization. Who am I? So knowing our true nature. It's a constant journey. And that's where the Yatna comes. So it is intentional and focused action, not random action. That one time we did it, one time we didn't do it, whatever happened, let's it all. One day we do rituals, one day we do meditation, one day no. This is the conscious effort, paying attention. And every activity, we have to pay attention. As I mentioned, the breathing, we have to breathe consciously. We have to eat consciously. What are we eating? Why are we eating? How is that going to lead us to the Param Dham, to improve our spiritual practices? How we speak. So any activity which we do consciously toward reaching to the supreme goal of Sat-Chit-Ananda, that is called Yatna. It is guided by awareness and clarity. So we have to do it in awareness. Bhoshi mein nahi karna hai. Not reactive or automatic, not autopilot, that automatically we are just like a slave of our mind, and just whatever our mind directs us, we do it. No, here we have to direct the mind toward that. In other words, we have to be master of that. Udhera atma atmanevna atmanev bandur. We have to make sure that our mind is our bandur, naripu, and in harmony with your value and purpose. In other words, we have to do the action for some purpose. And what is that purpose? Striving for growth, peace, and purpose. I am Sat-Chit-Ananda. And by doing this, it connects our body, mind, and soul, our Atma. So it's not just the actions what we do for body, they all have to be tailored toward the same goal. Our mind has to be tailored toward that. And then finally, we get connected to it. So it is not merely physical effort, but spiritual endeavor, sadhana, which we call it sadhana, purusharth, which is in chapter 15, it is called Purushottam and Purusharth over and over, backed by clarity, will, and purpose. And eventually, in Bhagavad Gita, it says Karma Yoga, but this one is more detailed about the Karma Yoga, that how our efforts lead to Karma Yoga. And finally, when body, mind, and soul is connected, we reach to the oneness. We see God in others and experience within ourselves. So what does Gita says about Yatna? Conscious effort. Striving for the purpose means not just blindly doing it, but striving continuously, working toward purpose. And it is a very beautiful verse in Bhagavad Gita in chapter 15. Yatanto yoginas chayanam pashyanti atmanavas sthitam yatanto api akratat manyo nanam pashanti achetsa. In other words, the yogi who are striving for the perfection with purpose, this is where yatanto means, can perceive the soul that is seated in their inner psychic consciousness. However, the ignorant, yatanto apti akratat manyo nanam pashanti achetsa, means the people who are not focusing on their efforts. They are working in the ignorance. And then when they work in the ignorance, it means their heart is not pure, because they're not working toward it, and it could be pure, but many times they become the slave of mind and then do whatever it comes, rather than focusing on how I can practice the divine qualities, forgiveness, and paying attention to our mind, body, and connecting to soul. Then they may try very hard, but they would not perceive the supreme power. They would not experience it. So another one again, it says, Satantam kirti yatanto mam. Yatancha dradvata. Here is the one now, new word comes. The great soul of divine nature makes firm vows. Dradta se. It's not that if we don't take the sankalpa, if don't we do the vow, then we might get sidetracked. But here, again, the importance of the sankalpa, that firm vows to worship me with devotion and great determination. They constantly chant my name. Here, the chanting country, Nam Jap is so important, and speak about my glories and do namaskar. Namaskar doesn't mean that we, basically here it means the surrender, devotion and perpetuality, striving to realize me. Again, striving. Yatanto, yatanto, yatanto. We have to strive toward it. And then, who strive for liberation? Again, jatanti. Here comes the word jatanti. It's the same word, jatant is now different verbs where it becomes the verb, it becomes a noun. But basically, those who strive for liberation from the cycle of birth, old age, and death by taking refuges in me, surrendering to me, fully realize the supreme power, Brahman, eternal being, the nature of self, an entire field of action, karma, and his creativity power. So in these three verses, it explains itself that what is the conscious effort Yatanto is, means it's the continuous effort. And how we should do it? We should do it with a firm sankalpa, dharta. And then when we do it, what are the benefits? So everything is explained. See, Bhagavad Gita, it's not just what we read, but what we understand, patan, manan, and then bringing in our daily life practices. Then we can go beyond the cycle of birth. So it's a divine tool. I call it Bhagavad Gita. Bhagwan ka hi roop hai, but he gave us is a divine tool, like he did it to Arjun. When Arjun could not see, he thought his actions were only for winning the war, and he wanted to give up. And Bhagwan Krishna ji brought him back. In other words, he did not want him to leave, but he wanted him to continue your yatna, strive for the perfection, for your purpose. And his purpose was to get involved with Dharma Kshetra, because it was not just a Kurukshetra, the action of field or field of action, but it was the Dharma Kshetra, the field of duty. And that's why he asked him to put your efforts, do not give up. So in other words, yatna means continuously on this path, when even though it might come difficulties on our way, but we should not give up. And in Gita, again, it explains when we start the actions and we get concerned, we give up, lose the courage, then that action becomes a tamasic action because we are not committed. So here is the commitment, the action which takes us toward the higher goal. We should be aware of it and then have our commitment to continue. We might face some difficulties on the way. Like sometimes we do meditation and we get frustrated, etc. Don't give up. Continue to do it, or anything. Continue to do your duty. Sometimes when we do our duty, then we face many difficulties from others, but we should not give up. That's what the yatna means here. So what are the barriers come in our, and actually it's in the one slide here, our laziness, inertia. Sometimes we are physically not capable of it because there is some physical limitations or stress or anxiety, distractions. The mind distracts in many different directions. Our thoughts are running everywhere and we are not even present. We are just doing blindly. And then sometimes we are fearful that whether I will succeed, I will not succeed. In other words, we don't have enough faith. Then the fear comes. And then, of course, many times we are so attached to the results, our ego, that if we fail, then what would happen? How would I feel it? How would others feel it? And many times we are not disciplined. That's why the whole chapter 6, Dhyan Yoga, is for self-disciplining, that we must self-discipline. We must pay attention and balance our life, like Yukta Har Viharas, that beautiful verse there. And then sometimes we do work so hard, we are burned out, overexerted. And then many times we have negative thoughts, so filled with negativity. All these things come in our way and we lose interest in the whatever our responsibility or duty we are doing it. So these are the barriers which come in our continuous efforts and is striving toward the purpose. So here, I just put it here again, but these are the these are the barriers. Now, since these are the barriers, then how to overcome? These are the problems. There is a solution for it, and Bhagavad Gita offers the solution. It gives us, you have a choice. You can do karma yoga. In other words, if you are interested in doing the action through action, seva, कर्मण्य वादिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्म फलेतु भूर्माते संगोस्तु कर्मणि. In other words, just do your action and be not attached to the results. Do it for the benefit of all, skillfully. Sarva bhutite rata. And then do the bhakti yoga, which is chapter 12. Guruji always said that this is the heart of Gita, which connects you directly to your heart. It's not just the Gita, but your heart. And Bhagwanji says, I live in your heart. He lives in every cell of our body, but in the heart section, which is also called the heart chakra, which is a chakra of forgiveness, building, developing all the divine qualities. Ahimsa, Satya, Sam, Sudhir, every quality, it starts from heart. So Bhakti Yoga, chapter 12, says, even if it doesn't mean that you just do the bhajan, kirtan, which is important, which is good, but also the practice, ahimsa, karuna, shama, that itself is a bhakti. These are the qualities one devotee or bhakta develops while performing his duty and with love and compassion. And then dhyan yoga, jnana yoga, with wisdom, know what is the purpose, live in awareness. That's why I put the sign here, awareness. We must do every activity in awareness. But in summary, we must pay attention to our efforts. We do it in awareness. Any activity, whether we are eating, we are breathing, we are speaking, we are sleeping, any activity, we must be aware of it, what we are doing, why we are doing, and also how this particular activity will take us toward the supreme goal of experiencing, realizing our true self, Sat-Chit-Ananda. And have a faith, have a courage, not just the fear, that I will fail, but have a courage. Yes, I can do it. I'm not alone. Supreme power is with me. And be humble. That's a very important word. Now, I am not the doer. The supreme power, the divine energy is doing it. And imagine, can we do anything? Can I talk? Can I speak without that power? Can I move my hands? No. We have all the appliances, but if we don't plug in, they won't work. If there is no electricity flowing through that, they will not work, no matter how good the best of the best appliances are, unless the electricity goes through it. Similarly, this divine power, unless this divine power goes through our body, does the work, we cannot do it. I can have the best gadgets of speakers and everything, but I cannot speak. You cannot hear me unless the gadgets are plugged in. So similarly, we are not the doer. The divine Shakti is the doer. The supreme power is doer. And we must develop the skills and also discipline ourselves. We must have the balance in eating, sleeping, all the actions. Then we can reach to the peace. Here, I put this particularly over there, it includes every activity, speaking, sleeping, meditation, everything. It's a combo of everything. Means all those activities are part of our daily life. And that's where I put it. Follow daily spiritual planner. And then attachment to let go. Let go, let go, surrender, surrender, surrender. And by doing this, what would happen? That we get the benefits of it. What are the benefits? Mental clarity, clear decisions. We are so calm, like a lake, and we can see through clearly. Similarly, everything calms down in the brain and we can feel it, we can see it clearly. Our emotional balance, we are more centered, more grounded. And then by having the mental peace, our physical health improves. We feel more energetic. We can sleep better. Our productivity is higher. And we also put the best use of our efforts, best use of our senses, mind, body. And then where we end up with this spiritual growth, inner peace, fulfillment. We feel good about ourselves. Our body, mind, soul, all are connected, all are aligned. And we feel one within ourselves and one with others and one with the supreme power. So we feel the one in all. So I just put these benefits again, summarize it here, that again, Yatna. And what does science say about it? Because Yatna means purposeful aware action, leading to growth and inner transformation, where the body and soul, body, mind, here, it activates these are the more like a biological terms, and this is more in the brain, but I thought I should put it there because we speak quite a bit about the brain part, the science part, and it's the prefrontal cortex of the brain. It gets activated. It gives us better memories. It helps us to focus, decision making. And this study has been done through the neuroscience. There are many publications. And psychology part of it, it builds them more cognition and cognition on the metacognition and emotional regulations. Basically, it rewrites our habits, the wiring in our brain, and then willpower increases, our behaviors changes. And actually, there are some publications in the behavior science, which I mentioned, it came from NIH, and many publications. And then it helps overcome fear, laziness, distractions, attachments. In other words, which I mainly mentioned, our overcome our 5+2 enemies: Kam, Krodh, Loh, Moh, Ahankar, jealousy, resentment. And when we are beyond these, then we are connected with our inner being. So there are health benefits. We sleep better, calmness, our productivity, happiness. We feel very happy without any reasons, very calm. So Yatna is the path from efforts to oneness. So with the efforts, conscious efforts, we reach to oneness, working without ego and attachment, attain mental clarity and success, happy, healthy, and peaceful life, and then we feel experience. So peaceful. I put it all this, how it connects to body, mind, and soul. So total well-being while we are living. We also connected with the inner peace and the peace with the others, like in the family, in the society, and then throughout the universe. And here I just specifically put it how we are connected to others. So as I mentioned before, one of the tools, yet the conscious effortness to oneness, the daily spiritual planner that keeps us disciplined, reminds us, and then we continuously do the yatna. We don't have to put much effort. We don't have to be concerned that we might get sidetracked, because we have a tool in our hand. We have this planner in our hand. In business management, we always have planning, project planning. And this is basically the project planner. I call it project planner for reaching to oneness, to experiencing, reaching to our true nature, Sat-Chit-Ananda. So the right practice makes one perfect, which we talked about, AAA strategy. So right efforts at the right time and right intentions. So we have regular practices of our starting our day. So start our day with a spiritual practice, whatever, whether Om mantra or reading Bhagavad Gita or other scriptures. Spend your day contemplating on it. So whatever activity we do, continuously have a mindfulness. But we should not forget our body part, where we should do the yoga, pranayam, meditation, and then continuously practice, and then in the evening, just evaluate. How did I do it? How can I improve upon it? And then this process of self-purification, transformation, and experiencing supreme power within us with continuous effort leads to oneness. Then we experience that I'm no different than supreme power, Sat-Chit-Ananda. But the key is we should do our action and then just let go, surrender, surrender, surrender. Sarva dharman paritajya. Mamekam sharanam braj. Aham tvam sarpapebhyo mokshashyami ma shuchi. So the time for our sankalpa. I strive for perfection. See now how the sankalpa, every sankalpa takes us. And I hope we all practice this sankalpa whole week and then ready for the new sankalpa. Because with sankalpa, little by little, shanai shanai buddhi, our buddhi keeps changing. But the condition is that we must focus on our efforts, our sankalpa. So continuously put my best efforts. As I said, living in Anandam is not an activity, but it's a lifestyle. And it gradually changes our subconscious mind, purifies it little by one step at a time until we experience and reach to the conscious mind, the universal mind. There are many terminologies for that. But our homework is to ask questions, live in Sakshi form, awareness, but ask the questions. Do I focus on my purpose of life? Am I working consciously, continuously, doing the yatna? Am I aware of my action? What thoughts and action separate me from my breath, from my action? Because as I mentioned last time, breathing connects us to our mind, and with us, all this wisdom of Bhagavad Gita connects us to the supreme power. So do I see my inner connection? Do I feel my inner connection? Am I aware of my barriers, which is also a very important part of it? 5 + 2 enemies. Do I do my spiritual practices? In other words, yatna, not apratna, means we continuously practice effortfully, our effort. So here it says yatna mokshasya marga, apratna bandhanasya karanam. In other words, this laziness could take us, or distorted mind, or not being disciplined, will not take us to the liberation, moksha, self-realization. So effort is a path to liberation. Lack of effort is the cause of bondage. So lacking our effort will cause a lot of difficulties. All the efforts will not bear the fruit. So we must continue to practice. And without any barriers, we could reach to ultimate goal. So, but the questioning our performance, actions, in other words, it's the self-inquiry is the key here that takes us to the next level. So continuous practice of yatna, conscious efforts, which takes us to oneness. Thank you very much for joining our Path to Anandam series today. Yatna to oneness. Thank you.